It's early in the morning. The markets, they're about to open right behind me here at the New York Stock Exchange. It is a Thursday, just one day removed from the weekend. And guess what? It's time for your ModernWallStreet.com AM Anticipation Report. U.S. stock index futures pointing to a sharply lower open this Thursday morning as oil prices extend losses and as investors take in Wednesday's Fed minutes and more volatility in the Chinese markets. First, on the economic data front here in the U.S., initial claims coming in at 277,000. That's initial jobless claims. They were up by 4,000 from the previous week, but still remaining consistent with an improving labor market trend. Existing home sales figures, the Philadelphia Fed survey, and leading indicators, they're all scheduled to be released today, 10 o'clock in the morning, with a majority of the focus on the Philly Fed survey. This after the Empire State survey earlier in this week plunged to a 2009 low. Traders are also keeping an eye on China's stock volatility, with the benchmark Shanghai Composite closing 3.4% lower overnight. That's down 128.5 points. And on the earnings front, Madison Square Garden, Sears Holding, and The Buckle all scheduled to report before the bell, while Hewlett-Packard, Gap, Intuit, Ross Stores, Salesforce.com, they're all due to report after the closing bell.